start off with that. And so far, the first weekend was kind of tough, but second weekend, it seemed like it went a little bit smoother. The bad part to it is sometimes the farmers suffer a little bit down there in Unit 9 because we take a little bit of the water away from them on Sunday. But we gotta play that circus act with the water to not spill it and use it wisely. Like today is Thursday, and today the Franklin has a 170-foot order, but you look at Sunday, they have no irrigations, with no more farms, they just got small tanks. So here's where you gotta play real brave with them. You gotta cut that order off today, so it can occur Sunday. But by the time the drought comes in, they're through with the small track, so there's a little open window about 8 hours that we have to play with, which usually will help serve, hurting at 9 a little bit, but we work it right like this weekend. We'll make it, but this weekend was kind of tough because we had the ceremony water, we had to provide 50 CFS, and then Mexico, all of a sudden, because of the heavy rain they got last week, they cut off on us. But we used all that water wisely without even spilling. They gave us a good indication to try the riverside. We ran the 350 feet down the riverside, and it didn't go with the bank. Wow. And we still, Unit 9 still had a hard time getting their water. So that means, like this week, the demand was real heavy. Even though we're in a they didn't irrigate 100% of the land, but we ran the riverside pretty hard and used every bit of it.
350 in the riverside.
And that's where we had a chance to also test out the ponds. We had tested that little canal, and we were able to pump water into the lake for about 24 hours. So that extra water we didn't use, we used it wisely, and they cut off Monday, and then they picked it up yesterday. So for 48 hours, they gave us 100 feet. And none of it was spilled. We used every bit of it. So it worked out pretty good. Back to the irrigation, kind of comparing a little bit of 2022, 24, 23. The return flow was almost identical to the acres, 20,000 acres. On the allotment side, guys, you can't compare last year to this year because last year we didn't start till June. We started in May. So right now, we watered 21,000 acres more this year than last year. So we're ahead, Mary, with more money. So that's a good show. So we're delivering them the small tracks we delivered to them. Starting this year, we kind of started on the negative side. We started off with, we needed 5 ditch riders. That has hurt us. Pete has been able to help me out with 2 of his men, and with 2 of his former ditch riders that moved over to the maintenance department. They've been helping us out, but two of the 5 will be released come Monday. They've been trained for about a month and they're ready to go. We got 3 more now to start training. I'm having to move them around because 9B in particular has got 2 men that he needed 2 ditch riders, and I can't let 2 new ditch riders go into that one unit. It'll be chaos for Tony, and it's such a heavy unit, so I'm gonna have to pull somebody from one other unit, put him in there with some experience, and have somebody unexperienced, and then the other guy with no experience goes to another unit. So it's gonna be a little chaos, but so far it's worked out pretty good.
He's not saying as those rookies go to 9A.
We try. It's you know, these poor guys come in and they don't know what they're getting into, and we interview them, and Lisa gives us applications, and some of the guys, we talk to them, and we tell them what they're gonna be working, they put up the hand, and I said, I don't work Saturday and Sunday, guys.
Oh, brother. Yeah.
I don't do Saturday and Sundays. Yeah. Sorry, but I said, okay, we don't
I don't do past midnight.
We don't need you. We don't need you. So we're there, and we got but we only have the other 2 guys coming into the 26th. They're having to give the 2-week notice. So hopefully by another 2 more weeks, then we got them, but we'll still keep. I think Monday we'll release one of the piece workers back to him, but I'm still having to keep the other guy. And then we got the pond that you got a picture in the email that Rockstar sent when we put Rick Ross.
Rick Ross.
Real name.
Yeah, Rick
Yeah,
Ross.
do you have one now? I can see, yeah, I don't know, if he didn't send the updated ones, I just have the ones that I think Pete was showing.
I thought he sent you one that,
Oh, he sent one last night, actually.
he sent, you were there, he sent you one where he put water in the pots. I completely forgot.
I didn't get anything, from last time.
Where you actually put water into the pot.
Yeah.
We've been.
So you've been,
I wanted at 4 o'clock, no, I didn't get it.
Yeah, Tuesday at 3:10, yeah, here you go.
Yeah, that's the same one Pete was showing.
Yeah.
No, but Pete didn't show the one actually into the lake.
Okay.
Maybe-
Oh, yeah, let me send, I'm not on the Zoom meeting. He should have, could you put it on now? I sent it.
Well, I have to receive it first.
You haven't got there yet? Come on. Something's wrong with this internet.
don't you live in
Well, it's the one
Austin?
from Tuesday.
Oh, you know, he's over in Arizona, that's what's wrong.
It's too hot.
Well, we can come back to it. So.
Okay, no, it's just
He
kind of
doesn't
show
have-
you,
He doesn't have the internet speed.
we ran water in there for 24 hours and, you know, we went in the next day and figured the lake would be full, but it was not even halfway
Wow.
the bottom of the lake. And like Al said, you need, what Al, it says 40 feet in there for 48 hours to really get it all the way to the top, because we're only running 15 feet.
Wow.
But
I forget, did we do a test to see what sort of
Seepage?
seepage?
No.
that's what Al wants us to do. We wanna
Right,
No, not yet.
put some water in there, Art, and,
Just at least visually, we
yeah,
can see.
and then see what kind, like, once we try to get in there, at least 2 feet or something in there,
Okay.
fill it up, and then let Al do his study, see what you're
Yeah.
gonna lose on it.
We-
But at least now we got a place where to go with some water.
Yeah,
We haven't gotten through the entire surface of it yet, so.
Yeah.
okay, all right.
So hopefully, now we get some extra water,
Yeah, and we're
No.
talking about just that very first,
Correct.
yeah, okay,
we get some extra water, we can go in there
that's right, yeah.
and help us out and save it. And the lake looks pretty good, like I said, Pete, it seems to be hanging toward the turnouts are for the riverside, so. That's it.
Yeah, it drains that end of, that was designed that way by me to drain to the turnouts. Yeah, so we're gonna put enough water, we'll probably bring it up halfway full and hold it for 2 weeks. We can't do the test until after about 2 weeks. We have to make sure everything gets saturated. And then we'll do a test, probably a week-long test of it. But we gotta wait till we have the water, so we're probably gonna be, who knows, it may be, if we get, weather driven, when we get any excess water in the river, we'll do it at that time.
Good.
Today's the first day of monsoon season, so,
Oh, is it?
yeah. So it started.
It's the Ides of June.
We out.
Okay.
That's it for me, guys.
All right.
So
Well,
far,
we
so
need-
good.
Go ahead.
Jay's being the UGM, every time he calls, he says, does this happen all the time, River? Does this happen all the time?" Yes, Jay, it happens all the time.
All right, we do need a motion to, if we're gonna move our water allotment up to 48 inches, and we're gonna increase our small tractor to 10.
Move to approve.
Mike made a motion, Larry seconds, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Okay,
And Robert left, so I guess he knew we were gonna do that, so,
thank you.
very good.
All right.
All
Thanks,
right.
Rios, great job.
Thank you. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
George. Gracias. Yeah, so when we release, it's it's just stuff in the canals, but yeah, Pete's guys and Robert's guys,
You're doing a great job.
it's been a great job. It's been a good start.
Very good. All right, then let's go down here to 13, application for licenses.
Mary.
Is Claudia doing this? Or is Sharon doing this? Sharon.
So, okay, a
She
license,
jumped when I said that. No, not me, not me. All right, sir.
license 1778 is a renewal. It was actually a 5-year license, but moving forward will become an annual license.
Okay,
And it is to operate and maintain, Ken Warner will be operating and maintaining anything within our system and our facility crossing, and it'll be a district-wide license.
And do we have an accelerated clause in there or something?
So this is the first year, yeah, so it'll be 20 for the first year, and then it's gonna be a CPI in here.
Yes.
So this is for facilities that are off the district right away, but like sometimes the poles in the back of the yard, so we gotta get our canal bank to
Okay.
utilize the poles, electric poles for their cable lines, yes.
All right. Do I hear a motion to approve, this is the actual license? Yeah.
It's a renewal.
It's a renewal on that 5 year.
So moved.
All right, Larry made the motion.
Second.
Mike seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next.
For 3018 is a 25-year license to construct a roadway for for Upper Valley Unit 1 subdivision for ingress and egress across the La Union East Lateral. And licensing has reviewed and recommends for approval.
All right, this roadway crosses, what?
La Union East,
Oh, La Union East? Oh, yeah,
What
there
are we
it is.
getting for this license?
I didn't see that.
this is gonna be 20.
What?
20,000.
20,000?
Okay.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
All right, Larry makes a motion. Mike seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
So this will be an actual roadway, so this is the developer, so off of West Side Drive, it's the road into the subdivision across our lateral, so developer funds it, and then it turns over to, in this case, it's gonna be a county road.
County
County
road.
road. Okay.
So, yeah,
They
so whatever
turn
the
over to
developer
the
does, after they finish and the subdivision is completed, it turns over to the entity, whether it's City of El Paso or town of the City of Socorro, or whichever municipality oversees that jurisdiction.
So in 25 years, the city will pay that, or the
Yes.
county, or whoever.
Yeah, so normally we'll, if it's City of El Paso, since we got that 50-year license, the City of El Paso will prorate it to include it, whatever the remaining term on that particular license with the city.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, Sharon.
Next to our applications by MCI, 25-year license for subsurface fiber optic cable crossing, and licensing has reviewed and recommends for approval.
Okay,
Move to approve.
Mike made the motion, Larry seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
The next two applications are by Frontera Network, also for aerial fiber optic cable, 25-year licenses. And licensing has reviewed and recommends for approval.
Make the motion to approve.
all right, Larry made the motion, Mike seconds. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The next one, application 3390 is by Bain Construction for a temporary construction license to use the right bank to access the south portion of Horizon Park subdivision, crossing the Mesa Square Drain.
When it says temporary, what does that mean?
It's a 3-month temporary license, and then any renewal will be for initial 3 months. So it's
Okay, so-
$3,500.
So anytime I read that temporary license is 3 months, or occasionally is it 6, or 6
We were doing 6 months, so we came
Dropped
back
it
to
to 3?
3
Okay.
months, and if we need a renewal, then we'll bring it back to the
3 more.
original.
Your motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Mike made the motion,
Second.
Larry seconds, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Application 3392 is by Texas Gas Company for a temporary license to access EPCWID right-of-way to allow maintenance of, for the Texas gas service pipelines on the Franklin Canal at Rosedale Road.
Does that mean that same 3
It's
months?
the same, they've got a main line that runs from Rosedale to Carnes, and they're going to run, it's like a pig, a balloon inside, and kind of clean the artery out, you know, so.
Huh.
Yeah, and they shoot water in it, so the tanks, all the equipment is off our right of way, but there's a 50-foot utility easement adjacent to the Franklin Canal, so they're accessing the canal to get to the facility.
I'll make the motion.
Larry made the motion, Mike
Second.
seconds, all those in favor signify by saying aye. All right. One more.
Application 3393 is by Consor Engineering for a temporary ingress and egress construction license to conduct surveying on the Franklin Canal at Delta Drive
Survey for,
for the,
This is so they're going to remove and reconstruct the bridge, Delta, across the Franklin Canal, right by the refinery there.
well, that's a mess down there, the way they got it at different angles and everything.
Yes, so they're gonna remove the whole structure. They did Carolina Bridge downstream from there about 3 years ago. And so it's a textile bridge, and they're gonna go in there for surveying and other, just to analyze the area. And this will go out to construction and for next year, that's a textile project. So we're gonna span the entire Franklin Canal and the railroad in that area, so.
Mike made the motion. Second. Barry seconds. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Very good, Sharon.
Thanks, Sharon.
And now we go to, you're not off the hook yet, are you?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Are you gonna do the?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so I handed out a sheet to y'all, and it refers to these 3 applications on behalf by Mr. Hawkes. So these are 3 parcels that Mr. Hawkes owns by Hunter and North Loop area.
Okay.
They're within the district's boundaries, but they have never been classified as irrigable property. So Mr. Hawkes has submitted the application to irrigate, and we do have a means of irrigating those particular parcels. And so what happens here is they make the application, and then they're responsible for the taxes that
would have been
would
charged.
have been charged for the
This
last
says all the way back to,
1939.
wow.
Oh, we have to pay all the way up?
Yes, so to bring it up to present, as if they were classified irrigable lands. So he's done that, and he submitted all documentation and made payment for all 3 parcels, and is eager to irrigate, so.
Well, sure.
This is a situation where he bought that property, I'm assuming just recently, and he wants to add water. And that's one individual, but imagine all the individuals, small property owners that buy a piece of land, and then they don't irrigate or they don't pay taxes on that because they feel that they shouldn't go back to 1933 to pay for something somebody else should have paid for. And it just seems a little bit unfair from that standpoint, but I don't know what the implications are or why we go so far back if there was an exchange of property from owner at various stages in that. And I understand that maybe there was no use for it at the time, maybe that was just a home or something that didn't have any need for irrigation, but I look at it from the standpoint of he's gonna be a taxpayer now. Great.
Correct.
Now, imagine all the ones that walked away because they were forced to go back to 1933. So wouldn't it be a little bit more common sense approach to say, okay, maybe a fee of, let's say, $500 or something, or whatever it might be, where it's not less than, but you have to go all the way to 1933 or 1902.
So I don't know, Jay might want to, I'm the one who was in charge of this, we set this up many, many years ago. So it's following the statute, we're doing what the statute says. And the equity issue is some of those lands, just like you said, they go exactly right. Some of them, we look at each one, some are suspended at different points in time. They stop paying taxes at different points in time. So one that we did prior to this one, several we've done, we only had to go back to the 1970s to collect because the taxes had been paid before that. We also use a very, very conservative inflation factor. We use 2% on average, and so adjusting for the time value of money. The other issue is the water rights that that we're granting on this land. There's a covenant that goes with this granting of a water right that says they can only use it for irrigation for 25 years. They can't sell it, but after 25 years, they can sell it typically for significantly more money than what they're paying in back taxes. The third equity issue is that if they pay this amount, the amount that this gentleman's paying, his equivalent, if he used city water, would be several times that amount. In other words, if 1,000 gallons of city water from the district, of irrigation water from the district is a few pennies, whereas it's quite a few, up to $10 from the city. So the money, most of the people, I don't think we've turned anybody down, because almost everybody, maybe one or two people don't want to pay the taxes, but the economics are such that in the long term, they'll make, it's an investment, they'll make their money back several times over. In the short term, it's so much cheaper to irrigate with our water than with city water that they'll make the equivalent of it back that first year of irrigation. So we're primarily using this rate, the big ones we've done have been for farmers, so that places where they can irrigate with a pump now, that's typically up towards the sand hill. So, and we haven't had any pushback on this. Or Jay, maybe you can talk to that. You helped me with the program when we first set it up. We haven't, I don't know if we had any pushback from the farmers, have we?
No, absolutely not. We've had 5R and Mr. Gutierrez right off the bat, and then they brought in about 20 acres each that were within the district's boundaries, but non-irrigable because they were highland. So they're able to pump to them now. And those were in the several thousands. Obviously, as you can imagine, this is a half acre and in comparison to 20 acres. So, but yeah, I guess on the long term, and as Al mentioned, compared to the city water, an acre foot, there's $30,000 or whatnot, $3,500 to water, as opposed to the small tract watering that everybody's decided to use. So, but no, the farmers, anytime you can bring in that land, and we have additional land that can be classified, so and brought it to the district, it helps the district out with the taxes and whatnot, revenue.
But it's a bargain,
But
long
yes.
term, long term.
No, and I understand that, but I do look at it from a small tract, from my constituents' angle, prism, that we go back to 1933 to back taxes. It just seems kind of, maybe the common sense approach is not applicable to this, it's just, but I'm just looking at it from the standpoint, he's gonna pay taxes going forward now. Great. He may not, but then I'm looking at all the others. Small tract owners that say, nah, maybe that's not worth it for me. And it's because it's just their little house, it's just their little planet, the quarter acre. And if you, I'm just looking at it, it's a taxpayer, it's money. And he just bought let's say the property 10 years ago or 5 years ago. So he can start paying taxes going forward versus, darn, if you go back to 1933, could you imagine all the ones that said, this is not worth it, I'll just keep irrigating out of my PSP.
We haven't had, it's such a bargain, we haven't had anybody, this is really the first time this has come up. The law, 50, which you have in front of you, 55, 6, 7, 7, required to do this. This is not.
I'm not saying this first, I'm just bringing, just a conversation. I just find it kind of funny that it's like 1933, like, wow.
And
What was the fee that?
Mr. Hawkins was
What did he
ecstatic.
pay?
I mean, he said, "Can I pay right now?" He paid over the phone. He was ecstatic. It was $1,300 for
It's a bargain.
That's a
half an
bargain
acre.
to get it.
It's a bargain. If you can irrigate an acre or half acre for that, that's a bargain.
It's well long, I think it's.
So, I mean, that's from 1939 to now. I mean, obviously moving forward, it'll be, $50
Whatever it
or
is.
whatnot, 25 for the small
It's just
tract.
Yeah.
something to
Charge.
think about, that we're going back to
We're-
1933, because the law says it, and that's the law, that's what it is, but.
The statute, yeah, we're following the statute. I mean, we can't deviate from that, so. But, yeah, I mean, I haven't spoken to the gentleman, but, yeah, nobody, nobody's complained, I guess, or, but we'll be more happy to meet with him. And the sheriff's talked to a couple of folks.
All right.
Okay.
Do I hear a motion to approve these applications, these three together?
So second.
All right, Larry made a motion, Mike seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Well, I heard a ratty sounding aye. Okay, since I'm the chair, guess what? We're gonna take about a 10-minute break. All right.